And we are back. This time we are going to see if the Bfdi contestants are able to play jump rope. If you don't know the rules, it's easy. Cross this bridge without getting hit by this rope. Out of the 30 to survive last round, here is everyone's vote, and similar to last Squid Game, the vote goes on the majority of team continue. The games continue. So let's not waste any time and get on with it as the contestants make their way to the next game. Before they even start, Black Hole is just disqualified because of his flight being his only form of movement. Okay, now WE can get on with it. Teardrop is the first one to go, and she's pretty confident making it to the gap without messing up. But her hesitation makes people notice and start gathering around the edge, giving Pencil the perfect chance to push Bracelety onto the bridge, causing her to get hit by the rope and go flying. With the first kill, everyone surrounds Pencil, forcing her onto the bridge. Around 3 minutes have passed with only 2 people on the bridge, as everyone would be too afraid to go. And seeing how a lot of people will struggle, some people decide to go first, like Donut, Pen, and Fiery. And as Pencil reaches the end, she encounters a problem: Teardrop. As she refuses to let anybody pass, and especially not Pencil, and so they are forced to continue jumping. And because of this, Donut starts getting tired and gets knocked off the bridge. Seeing how nothing is changing, Pen decides to save Pencil and push her onto the safe zone, catching Teardrop by surprise. However, as Pencil and Teardrop start fighting, Pen loses balance from the push. And by the time he regains it, the rope is too close to react. And with the bridge clearing up a bit, a few more people make their way across. Even more time has passed by now, and some people are doubting that everyone will make it in time. Tucko tries to jump the gap but gets grabbed by Lai. As she throws herself across the gap, Tucko grabs her and drags her down as they continue to struggle. Bell and 8-Ball are worried about not being able to get across, but Marker offers to juggle Bell as he jumps, and with no other options she agrees. Just as Marker is about to head off, they watch Tucko and Lai fall as Needle steps over them, making them lose their grip. And with the first half clear, the next few head of, including Marker, who barely carries Bell. However, he is able to throw her up and jump the first rope, only for him to get struck down right after sending both to their end. Seeing Marker fail, Winner decides to step up and grab 8-Ball. As everyone gathers around the edge and watches as Winner makes it over the gap closer to the end. And just as Pencil did, Lollipop pushes someone off, and just as she's about to push more people off, Remote attacks Lollipop, stopping her from causing more death, and as they continue to fight, they roll onto the bridge, and fortunately for Lollipop, she gets pushed up, just barely jumping the rope, and sadly this means Remote gets hit away by the rope as Lollipop regains her balance and starts crossing the bridge. The commotion at the start catches Winner's attention as he loses balance, and quickly throws 8-Ball to the finish line when he slips. Luckily, Hez just able to grab the edge in time, but he remains unable to do anything as he is trying to not fall. Alright, here is a reminder of all the players that have gone so far, and out of those who have crossed we have Teardrop, Pencil, Needle, Fiery, Grassy, and 8-Ball. Now back to the show. With Winner dangling over the edge, both Book and Price Tag get on the bridge to help, but also because time is ticking. Teardrop and Pencil continue to fight as the game goes on, with nobody being able to get the upper hand. Eventually they fall onto the bridge, blocking everyone else off, causing Lollipop to almost fall, until Grassy decides to help Pencil and drop Teardrop off the platform. And with them clearing, Lollipop is able to make it as well as Book, who saves Winner from falling. But Price Tag isn't so lucky, as Pencil, ready to get back into the action, kicks Price Tag off, just barely missing Book and Winner's entrance. After all of this, there is only a few minutes left of the game, and still quite a large group of people not going, until Basketball realizes the rope gets faster and starts to run. As everybody watches her, not sure of whether they should go or not, and the only other person to go is Robot Flower, who is able to cross the bridge in the time it takes the rope to swing. However, she has to do it normally since she won't push Basketball off. But Basketball only manages to cross the gap before Basketball is at the point of being too exhausted to finish. And as she is saying her final words to Robot Flower, RF decides to sacrifice herself, pushing Basketball to the end, unintentionally saving everyone else as Pencil gets hit back and is knocked out for a bit. Not far behind is Fries, who isn't finding it difficult apart from the slight bit of weight. And as he gets closer to the end, we find out Coiny was hiding in Fries the whole time, as he jumps out and to the finish, leaving Fries distracted for a second. Fries manages to jump over the rope as they hear Ruby get launched behind him as she mistimed her jump. And with that, only 5 remain who have not crossed the bridge yet, and as much as they'd like to hesitate, they are down to only a few minutes. Bubble is the first one to go, and luckily for her, she makes the first jump, only to realize that she falls too slowly and as the rope comes around a second time. Spongy is the next one to go, and I'm sure you can assume how it goes for him with it being called jump rope and all. Yeah, he doesn't make it very far and also gets knocked off, probably killing anyone who survived the fall as well. Anyway, with him gone, only 3 remain and 90 seconds are on the clock. Naily and Bottle both go next, and unlike the previous contender, they are actually able to make it over the first jump. And then a few more after that, until Naily falls back a little too far and gets nailed into the track just as Bottle is trying to jump the gap, causing her to fall. The last one to go is Dora, and with 30 seconds she is charging up, and she goes in one rotation, knocking Naily off and crossing the finish line.
The game is now over.
13 players survived, including Pencil, Needle, Fiery, Grassy, 8-Ball, Lollipop, Winner, Book, Basketball, Coiny, Fries, and finally Dora. So I didn't think the video would be this short, and because of that you guys get a dinner scene which was originally going to be saved for the Squid Game episode. Everyone enters the dormitory one last time as the dinner table gets brought into the room, everybody exhausted from the last game and almost no words said. Some of the people who voted to continue, specifically Coiny, Needle, Fiery and Grassy, are discussing voting to leave, which in theory would put them in the majority. Meanwhile, Pencil continues to be a hater and she argues with Winner and Book. And suddenly both Pencil and Winner start fighting while Book moves out of the way, however, before anybody can be really hurt. The guards come in announcing the prize pool and the dinner. And everybody gathers around as the table gets brought in along with the food. Nobody talks the whole way through as the guards give them a hint about the final game only needing 3 deaths, which gets a lot of people's attention, especially Coiny and Fiery. However, certain people, especially Pencil and Lollipop, know that less deaths means less money, making them a bit frustrated. The lights dim as they announce it is time to vote, and first up is Fiery. As he steps up, all people can think about is how the vote will go. With Leafy already gone, he would rather get some extra money, especially since he lost Dream Island. Pencil couldn't care less about everyone else, she just wants money. To Needle's surprise, Coiny also votes to continue, saying he'd risk it if only 3 people have to die. Unlike Coiny and Fiery, Needle actually sticks to changing votes and setting the vote 3-1. Just like Needle not wanting to die in the final game, Grassy switches sides and votes to leave, making the vote 5-4 in favor of X. Dora switches, protecting 8-Ball, not thinking he can do the last game and trying to let him leave. Now everyone thinks they finally get to leave. 8-Ball steps up to vote. The vote is now tied, and right before lights out everyone is told the revote will happen first thing in the morning. Before the lights went out, the Continue to team were discussing how to win the vote the next day, and a majority of them seem to agree on the same plan. As the lights turn off, all of them walk forward and get ready to make their moves. Well, you guys are the VIPs, so place your bets for who will win in the comments. The more of you engage there, the more impressions this video gets and the more videos I'm motivated to make. As of writing this, only 33 subs are needed to reach the goal, so if you have not yet done so, go subscribe. Expect the Season 2 finale and Squid Game to release soon, and that's all I have to say, so bye.